Hello all, and welcome to this afternoon's beer review. It is a chilly by Hawaii standards afternoon, and I'm going to dub this particular review the mildly irritated review, because I'm mildly irritated because I changed my work schedule at the last moment, mostly so I can attend a mandatory training. This particular training being either stuff I already know or things that people really should have learned by now. I don't know how they haven't learned. Basically stuff like, if somebody goes and sends you an email asking for your password, do not give them your password. Or, these are the important phone numbers for our job. That sort of thing. Basically 8 hours of that. But at least they're springing for a free lunch, so. What are we reviewing today? Well, there was no can review recorded yesterday because, well, I like to go and drink something first to go and give it a chance to see, and it's going to be, well, it'll get reviewed when it gets reviewed. Part of the reason why I'm mildly irritated is because it goes and throws off my drinking schedule. But, you know, that's no biggie thing. I mean, 1 or 2 reviews a week is still a pretty good pace for beer review, or liquor review. Well, local beverage review. Well, I'm kind of rambling on. It's already a minute and a half in. I should just get into this beer already. So, what do we have in the growler today? Our Three Peaks growler today. Well, we have something from what is probably the most recent of the local breweries, and that is Kohola Brewery on Maui. It is a brewery that's opened up in the Maui Brewing's old location. Maui Brewing moved to a newer, larger location so that they could have more space for their canning facilities, since they are now distributing to the West Coast. And so they sold their old property, and, you know, Kohola brought it, and Maui, you know, being that brewers, you know, microbrewers tend to help each other, founder of Maui Brewing went and helped Kohola get set up and get running with the brew pub. So they don't do any canning. They're pretty, they have a pretty small output, but they do, you know, send barrels to the main islands. So what do we have here today? We have Hop Aloha, which is their double IPA. This is 8.4 ABV, so a little bit on the hefty side. And it's made with about 5 different kinds of hops and the house yeast. And so I'm excited to go and give it a try. This is my first try, literally, from this brewery because, like I said, this brand is pretty new. It's only been around for a couple of years. And they don't can and don't really distribute too well outside of Maui. So, let's give this a shot, shall we? And as always, at least I know the seal is good on my growler, huh? There we go. The chicken is outside doing his chicken things. Give it a pretty hefty pour here. Probably a little bit too hefty, but that's okay. This is a thick off-white head. Let's hold it up to the light here so you guys can get a sense of the light. Maybe a little bit too much light. It is a cloudy, let's go and hold it up this way. A cloudy, let's say orange-yellow. Nicely carbonated. Head's nice and thick too. Let's go and get this closed again. Manner, I'll keep it from shining too much light in. And, well, let's go and give this a whiff, shall we? Big citrus flavors. Hints of mint. Very juicy smelling. Slightly muted, but I poured this off a little bit colder than I usually pour off a double IPA. So it'll probably open up as it warms up a bit. I'm going to hold it like this to help it warm up a bit. Oddly, a touch of earthiness, which is not what you usually expect from mostly Northwest Coast hops. but definitely more on the tropical side, at least from the nose. Not much pine needles, not much dank. Definitely juicy. Tastes pretty juicy too. This is actually not very bitter for a double IPA. There's almost like a baseline, grapefruit and citrus zest, rindiness, pithiness that's from start to finish. Doesn't really go high, doesn't really go low. It just kind of persists on into the long finish. Just stays on the tongue. Bitter. Hints of resin, but mostly that sort of citric pithiness. Mildly carbonated, even for the style. That's probably also because it's off a draft rather than out of a can. Orangey. Even the malt has grapefruit aspects to it. Because that baseline hop bitterness, hop flavors. It really gives me the feel like I'm drinking grapefruit juice. There's some malt sweetness that appears especially at the sides of the palate. Not too strong. Yeah. Hints of ozone, effervescent notes in the upper part. So what can I say about this? One thing you kind of want, well, a bit thick on the palate, which you kind of should expect for the style. But I'm kind of underwhelmed by the lack of complexity and, well, general bigness of this. This is, there's no real off notes. It's just kind of, it's a hoppy beer. It's a double IPA. I don't know what else to say about this. There's, like I said, there's not really anything I can say that's bad about it. It's not, it's not unbalanced so that it's like cloyingly sweet or just overwhelmingly, tongue-scorchingly bitter. But it just seems kind of, for lack of a better word, vanilla. In that it's, there's nothing really making it shine. There's nothing really making it pop out. I would say that the most distinctive aspect about it is the very low carbonation that really makes it seem kind of like old school off the draft, where it doesn't have as much carbonation bite, and you definitely get a more of a creamy aspect to the mouthfeel. But that's just an artifact of the style, off the draft style, and probably the heaviness of the beer. And when it comes to taste notes and other things like that, it's just like, well, you kind of expect, you kind of expect a bigger boom. You know what I mean? But by all means, it's still a beer that's, that doesn't have any particular flaws to it, major flaws or minor flaws. It's just kind of, That said, I am going to go and explore more from this brewery and to perhaps find something that I like. And, I'm also going to give you the caveat here that I am, especially when it comes to double IPA style, I'm getting kind of jaded and or burnt out, as it were. So, folks, that is your beer review for today. Hop Aloha, Kohola Brewery's double IPA. Well made, nothing bad about it, just kind of meh. That's your beer review for the folks. That's your beer review. Well, that 8.4 is definitely kicking in. That's your beer review for today, folks. Cheers.